Happy Memorial Day, friends. My name is Andy Green with Green Group Real Estate at Keller Williams Realty Professionals. Thank you for joining me today on this live stream. Today is a special day. Today is Memorial Day. Today is the day that we remember all of those people who sacrifice so much for our freedom. And I can tell you that I am a big fan of the United States of America. The opportunities that we're presented on a daily basis would not be possible without those veterans and active service members who sacrifice so much. Some of my favorite movies are Saving Private Ryan, Band of Brothers, that HBO miniseries. I watch it like every year, and it just moves me inside the sacrifices that are made for us. I have a long line of veterans in my family going back to World War I, and I am very respectful. So thank you so much. If you're watching this and you are either an active service member or retired. So thank you. Thank you for joining me today. My goal, as always, we've been going live each and every week to provide you with information that you can use to make smart choices, both today and moving into the future as we move through this COVID-19 time. You're getting a lot of mixed messages just in the market in general. And we try to really hone in and dive deep into the local market, what's happening with real estate, what's happening in the mortgage market. And hopefully that has been providing value to you to make smart choices. That is ultimately why we're here, to help you make smart choices. So today, as you can see, I don't have Annie Ransom with me. No, Annie. She is vacationing, enjoying her Memorial Day. So Annie, if you're watching this, I hope that you're having a great time. Enjoy your time with your family, and go have some fun. And here I am going live today on Memorial Day. And what are we going to be talking about? Today, we are going to be talking about the top 5 tips to prepare your home for sale, because my friends, it is home selling season. Regardless of what's going on out there in the market, what I can tell you for sure is that today is a good time to sell your home. And I know that just from conversations that I'm personally having with a lot of you out there, is that you're definitely thinking about it. So if you're just going through that process of pros and cons and thinking about whether or not now is the right time for you, your family, then hopefully this information is going to be useful to you. So as always, I welcome your questions, your comments. So if you leave us a comment, I should be able to see them. Sometimes I get a little distracted, but I do my best to cover all of your questions and comments live. And if we don't get to them live, then I will definitely be going back to them, and I'll answer any questions that you have. So I love hearing from you guys. So make sure that you leave us a comment, and we will do our best to get to it. So without any further ado, the top 5 tips to prepare your home for sale. I am going to be joined today by Christina Birtcher with 3 Rose Interiors. Christina has been helping our home sellers stage their homes for the past couple of years. She does a great job of just holding our sellers' hands and walking them through the process of the tips and tricks to properly prepare your home to make sure that it is showing in its absolute best light. We're able as real estate professionals to really show your home online to consumers, to attract them. And the work that you're able to do up front, it makes a huge difference in the time that it takes to sell your home and the amount of money you're able to put in your pocket. So Christina, she is on the screen with me here. Christina, welcome to our live stream today. Thank you for joining us. I really appreciate it.
Thank you for having me, Andy. I appreciate it. And I too want to thank all those service people. Happy Memorial Day, those have gone before us. And thank you for your service.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So before you get into your top 5 tips,
Yes.
Why don't you just tell us just a little bit about yourself? Why should people listen to you when it comes to preparing your home for sale?
Well, I think I've probably a little different background to that. I actually went to school at the Design Institute in Newport Beach. And shortly after that, moved to Hawaii. And as you know, Hawaii, I was on the Big Island in Kona, and there's not a lot there. So I started doing presentations to realtors to assist them with their listings. To basically I did staging when staging wasn't even a thing. So it was that was probably, let's see, about 20 years ago.
Wow. Okay. So you've been at this for a while.
Yeah.
Awesome.
So it was very helpful. They took to it, and it was easier to get things reupholstered than to try to buy new furniture for, probably 5 or 10 years out. Now they have decent stores, but back then there weren't so many.
Okay.
So.
Awesome. So 20 years experience at this, and you're gonna whittle that down to only five of your top tips to prepare a seller's home for the market, which I know makes a huge difference because I see it day in and day out. So let's get after it. The first tip was first impressions. So let's talk about it. What do you mean by that?
Well, I think a lot of people forget about the outside of their homes. And I know there's a lot of new shows now that curb appeal and that. So people are a lot more familiar with how important that is. So you really kind of want to start your impressions outside. If you have dead plants and, mismatched pots and clutter all over your front entry, that doesn't bode nicely for when your visitors or potential clients walk up to your front door. Another thing I try to do is, power wash, clean your front entries, touch them up with paint, especially if your front door, maybe pop that with some color, or if it's wood. I encourage my clients to even just restain it, just make it look fresh and clean and inviting, possibly put a wreath. But, in the spring, summer, and fall months, it's really easy to buy nice matched pottery with complementary color. And you can pop one of those beautiful hanging baskets in there and make sure you water it, clip off the wires, the hanging wires, and you've got these beautiful pops of color. And they're even subtle ones as well. Put a couple of those right on each side of your door, and you've got just a beautiful, welcoming entry. The other thing I like, if you have the room, put a small entry table with a nice accent lamp, maybe an unscented or faux candle with a beautiful, vase of, even just a plain green leaf. You don't have to spend a lot of money. An area rug, and it really gives an inviting feel to when your clients walk in through the door.
Yep. So one note that I wrote down as you were talking about that is, and this is coming from 21 years experience walking buyers through homes, is that people buy emotionally. And if you can help them to emotionally feel like this home, is a good fit for them, and it just puts them at ease, and they see those colors, and it honestly, like those little things, they make a difference, and it makes you feel better rather than seeing spider webs and dings on the front door. Some of the things that you were talking about, they're exactly what I was thinking somebody should do when touching up their front entryway, because first impressions, you're absolutely right, they matter.
Yeah. And your exterior lighting too. Most people have two
light bulbs,
lanterns at their front door. They're so easy to update if they're old and some of the paint kind of starts coming off. Put a couple beautiful lanterns up. Make sure you've got the light bulbs work. That's another thing I put later on in my 5 tips. But just little things like that, and you're really not spending lots and lots of money. It's a very, very easy fix, and it doesn't cost a bunch of money.
Yeah, and that was ultimately my goal, was to provide home sellers with inexpensive tips. So you don't have to spend thousands and thousands of dollars to do these things, but just inexpensive, easy tips that people can implement even on their own with a little bit of direction from a professional like you. So let's go to number two. Number two is Get Unstuffed. I love this one. What does that
Yes.
mean?
Well, I walk through, and people always say, gosh, why do I have to take all my photos down? And why do, all my personal things? I've seen trophies and flags, and, it's in all of your kids, your children's photos, and, exactly. You kind of need to depersonalize your home because, and it's a psychological thing. You want that potential client to look around and say, well, I would put my family photo there, or my portrait here, or you want them to be able to imagine. And if they see all of your things cluttered everywhere, it's a mental block. The other thing, and I know this is kind of a pain, and coffee pots are another thing, but coffee makers, but I like clean countertops. And the reason for this is not to curse us every morning, your realtor and myself. It's more to it looks bigger and cleaner. And right now, with all this COVID business, you want your house to be clean. You want your cabinets to not look like everything is just shoved in there. You want to take everything out, clean them, reline the cabinets, the drawers, and put in just what you basically need. You're going to have to pack it anyway. Things you don't use, just remove and start packing. And it's a nice slow way actually to get a lot of your packing done for when you do sell your house, because doing these few things, you probably will sell it faster than normal. The other thing, yeah, the other thing, I'm sorry, I was looking at my notes. Countertops and vanities for your bathroom. Clean those off. Toothbrushes shouldn't be sitting out on the counter in electric toothbrush holders, and put those away, and not don't have hair and combs and brushes, and just make it really clean. Put maybe some flower in another. Again, I'm a flower person, so I like little bouquets of flowers here and there, and a candle, and just really simple. Make sure your towels are not the ones you just showered with. Put those away, and put out your nice your guest towels, so that it looks cared for and clean.
Simple sells.
Yes.
And over time, I know that so many of us, we just accumulate so much stuff because it's stuff that makes us feel good. And that's great. And when you're selling your home, it's time to eliminate usually like 75% of the stuff that we keep around.
Yes.
You can be very strategic in what you keep out. Because I think that's important. That's part of the staging process.
Mm-hmm.
But you're right. Get unstuffed. I love the way that you say that. That's honestly, that's the first time I've heard that term. Get unstuffed. Okay. So number three, closets are a big deal. And this actually is different than what I've typically thought. I've thought that, closets maybe aren't as big of a deal unless it's like a complete train wreck and completely stuffed. But so tell me about that. What do you mean by closets are a big deal?
I have, so many times the first thing women do is they go and look at the closets, because some of them are really small, and they're really very difficult to figure where am I going to put my shoes? And, then I have my seasonal clothing, and do I have to, buy another armoire to put my seasonal clothing in, or am I going to have a, closet that I can fit everything in? And what I like to do is have my buyers, take everything out, go through that, donate what you're not going to wear. Rule of thumb, like I said in my notes, is if you haven't worn it in over a year, you're probably not going to wear it. And I'm guilty of that for sure, because I like to keep, I remember that.
All are.
And I don't want to give that away. I might wear it. You're just going to have to either pack it or get rid of it. And I always try to get rid of as much as possible. When you're doing that, you kind of rethink your wardrobe, go through, donate what you can. And then you've got all that stuff out of there anyway, paint it, freshen it up. And that way it looks, all the scuffs are gone. It just looks and smells clean when you walk in. And then the other thing I do is I encourage my clients to buy those velvet hangers. And the reason I encourage that is because they're skinny. So you can still have your, your clothing in there that is nicely arranged, but you can fit a little more and your closet looks bigger. and get the pant hangers, the proper pant hangers that, so they're not, everything's not mismatched. And then what I do, I'm a Virgo, so pardon me. I love order. And so I do long sleeve shirts, short sleeve shirts, dresses, suits, and I put them in color order as well. So that's kind of I think it looks really nice. And when someone walks through your home and sees that you've taken that extra time to do it, and it doesn't take very much time, it'll take you longer to buy the hangers. You can get at Costco I think you can buy a big pack of them, black ones for, I don't need, very little. People, that stays in their mind. And, your closets not only look bigger, they look organized, and that is really going to make an impression on them.
One thing that I have experienced time and time again over the years, showing buyers through homes, they remember certain things in homes and they name homes. So like if your closet is a complete train wreck and it's completely overflowing with just stuff, they'll call it the train wreck closet house. And seriously, they just come up with just random names.
Right.
The blue family room house. Yeah, whatever. Exactly. So you want to make sure that what is memorable are the positive features. They don't find anything negative. Maybe the floor plan isn't the perfect fit for them. Great. That's totally going to happen. But some of those things you can set up so that they're really remembering your home for the positive features. And that's our goal, right?
And that's going to cost you the price of your hangers. It's such an inexpensive and memorable thing to do. It's so easy. And your kids will probably have fun doing it too.
Oh, sure they will. My kids would totally love it. I'll tell my 16-year-old son, come in and help me with the closet. He would laugh. He'd think that's so funny. I have a hard enough time getting him to hang his own clothes up. So that's another story. That's another live stream for another day.
Exactly.
So clean. Yep. I know that this is a big deal. So talk to me about it.
Well, yeah. And another inexpensive thing to do, and you kind of have to go through. I use magic erasers with my clients. It gets scuffs off the walls. You can take it and clean your trim. I clean appliances. Make sure your fridges are sparkly and your ovens are sparkly. The other thing I have on here I think is really important. Clean your windows, inside and out, clean your tracks. You will not believe what a difference clean windows make. And it really does make your whole home feel cleaner and look cleaner. And if you do it yourself, again, it's just a very inexpensive thing that is very important. The other thing that I like to do, that I tell my clients, if you've got those dark accent walls that were popular, in the 80s, 90s, some of them were, in the early 2000s, get rid of them, because those dark harvest, gold, orange, dark brown. And I've got some paint colors for you that I use that I love. They're Sherwin-Williams. The first one is called Loggia, and it's SW7506. The other one, there's an accessible beige, which is SW7036. Beautiful color if you have more of the beiges in your home. Okay. And if you like more of the grays, agreeable gray, SW7029. Beautiful colors. A lot of people, the trend is going more matte now than eggshell. But if you do that, obviously you're going to have to paint probably most of your house. So you might have eggshell in your house now. If you do, stick with it. The other thing, if you have time, paint your trim. I like Alabaster SW7008. It's a real soft, creamy white, beautiful white. But then what I like about it is it doesn't have undertones that go green, pink. It's really, really neutral. So, if you have time and can do that, it really, really does make a big difference. And then my last thing and really important thing I want to extend here is that if you do a thorough cleaning, patch holes, repair, spackle all the holes in your walls, just get it all cleaned up. it looks well cared for. And a dirty home really looks like it's been neglected. And that all brings to mind to buyers and Andy, tell me if I'm wrong, but it's like a used car. If you get a used car and it's all dirty, you're going to think, oh, they haven't taken care of the engine. They probably didn't change the oil. Same with a home. If it's dirty, it's like, okay, what am I not seeing? Is the HVAC going to go out, in 2 months? What's underneath? Do they take care of this home? Has it been maintained? And you don't want your buyers to go there. You want them to see a beautiful, clean home, and their brain not wander to, gosh, what's underneath this house? And, am I going to have a bunch of repair bills if I buy it?
Right. That's actually a very, very good analogy. And I use that all the time. And I've shot several videos about this topic exactly, which is not only do I recommend that somebody, have a professional stager designer come in like yourself and just help them prepare their home for the market, but also have it pre-inspected. So make sure that you have taken care of all of those little things that are going to come up during an inspection anyways. And if you address them ahead of time, it gives people a sense of mind, a sense of peace and a sense of ease that they are buying a home that's been pre-inspected. You've provided them with a list of all of the repairs, all of the mechanicals that you were talking about have all been inspected. They're looking good. And that just makes the whole real estate process so much smoother and so much easier, rather than getting surprises during the inspection period. It's like, oh no, I have a crack in my foundation, or there's water in my crawl space that I didn't know about, or there's a sewer line issue, a belly in the sewer line.
Absolutely.
You do those things ahead of time, you're going to make the process smoother for you. And more than likely, you're going to save money during the inspection period, because if you hire that workout and you get competitive bids, the buyer is just going to start ticking off money in their mind. And they're more than likely, from my experience, going to ask for more than what it would have cost you if you just did it up front. So that's a really, really good point and a good tip. And actually, I'll leave in the notes down below, I'll leave a link to one of those videos I shot talking about that exact same thing.
Yep, great. So, I was a property manager before this career for about 15 years. Okay. And I really, it's one of my pet peeves, that I go through, and I still have property manager, brain. So I do go through, and I do try to give my clients, even those types of tips that I see, not only home related, but, deferred maintenance type of items that I think they should address as well.
And that's why we love you. That's why we love you. So one thing that I want to mention while we're on the topic of clean, for the month of June, if you reach out to us and you're interested in having conversation about listing your home, and at the end of the day you decide that it is the right time for whatever your reasons are, we have a special bonus for you, and we're going to offer a free professional home cleaning prior to going live. So let's call it our June COVID special that, our company at our expense will pay for a professional home cleaning for the month of June. I'll leave the information down below as well. So if you're interested in taking advantage of that special bonus, then just click on the link down below, and we'll just have a conversation and see where that leads. So that wraps up clean. We have one more.
Yes.
We have one more of your top 5 tips, and that is to be memorable. I talked about that a little bit before, but what do you mean by that?
Well, what I mean is, when you walk into a home, there's a lot has to do with scale. And scale is a difficult thing. I think that if you, it's an innate thing. I'm not going to claim to be an accountant. I'm not good at that. A lot of people aren't good with scale. So if you walk in a home and you've got overstuffed furniture, and you've got, cluttered traffic flow, and mismatched furniture, and it it just doesn't feel right. That alone is usually a scale issue. And a lot of the times homeowners can't, it's just not something that their brain can do. And I think it's an innate thing. A lot of interior designers just have it, they're born with it. It's very, very important to have that cohesive feeling. And I think my best way to describe it is, there are some homes that you can go into and you feel so comfortable and you're like, gosh, this house, I just feel like I could sit down and put up my feet. This feels really comfortable. And there are other homes where you just kind of like, when's the next shoe going to drop? I'm just not comfortable. I don't know where to sit. I don't know where to stand. And it's a feeling that stays with your buyers when they go to that home. It's like, oh gosh, that home that I don't know what was wrong. I just didn't feel comfortable there. And that has a lot to do with it. What do you think, Andy?
That's called the uncomfy home. Remember that? Remember that home, honey? The uncomfy home.
Yeah.
That's
Was
the
it
nickname.
Haunted? I don't know.
That's the nickname for that house. And trust me, buyers do it. And certain buyers do it with every house.
Yeah.
It's just the way their brains work. So I get it.
And that's kind of, what we come in and do, and we do the best we can. I did go to school. It's called the Use What You Have philosophy. I went to school in New York and was trained by Lori Ward, who's she's pretty much a pretty famous Use What You Have philosophy in interior designer. And she's been doing it for years. And I was trained personally by her, and it helped me a lot to, normally what I love to do is I'll go into someone's home and I will just start, looking in closets and, with their permission, of course, and things that they think are not pretty or, can't be used. We use them throughout. It's just like when your own house, even in my case, I like things a certain way and I don't update them because you can't see the forest for the trees. When I go into someone else's home, it's a clean slate for, and you really can help homeowners. I'm offering a 50% off special for the first 5 people that want to call me, and I will come over and I will help you, relook at your home and stage it if you're thinking about listing with Andy, of course. Who else would you list with? The other, yeah, right. The other thing I like to talk about is decluttering tabletops, dressers, shelves, bookcases. I can help you, do that and then restyle them. The other thing I see a lot is people push the beds to the side of the wall. Right. And it makes the bedrooms just look so bad and so off kilter. And if you have to do that, replace the bed if you can, and get a smaller bed, get 2 nightstands, get so that it's balanced, and get a couple of beautiful table lamps. I mean, Wayfair, right now you can get things like that pretty reasonably. Pardon my Siamese cat. Anyway, that's one of the things that I think is really, really helpful. Is you just, bedrooms are important. People want larger bedrooms. They, especially the master. And when you see a bed pushed against the wall, it just is not good for when you're trying to sell your house. Open your window coverings, turn on lights. And the last thing and this is, show your house in the best possible light. Change your light bulbs. If you have can lighting, use warm or cool light. Make sure they're consistent, because if not, you have all these weird shadows that kind of, because you've got a warm light here and a cool light, especially I see that a lot in kitchens. The other thing, and burnt out light bulbs are just, they're annoying, and people that just leaves that little niggling thing in the back of your head.
And they're so simple to fix.
It is. I usually use 3-way bulbs in my table lights, just because I can kind of adjust the ambiance, depending on the time of day and how dark it is or how light it is outside. I turn on the lights, open the window coverings, and my last thing is, and Andy, this is something for you. I think seasonal decorations really date the listing. And if you're shooting something for, shooting a house to go live during Christmas time and it still hasn't sold in Easter and you still got Christmas trees and Christmas decorations, I hate to say it, but, don't put them out, for the photos. Wait until, Andy's company's been able to take your photos without the seasonal decorations. And I just feel it's why you don't want to date your thing automatically at first glance. So
Right. Well, fortunately, Christina, the vast majority of our listings sell very, very quickly.
That's true. That's true.
So that's, every once in a while, could that be an issue? Of course, the vast majority of the time, our listings are selling in at least 2-3 weeks, somewhere right around there. So not an issue at Green Group Real Estate.
That is true.
Okay, Christina.
Problem to have.
One other thing that I will mention is not only do you stage our listings, getting them ready for sale or helping the sellers, but you recently helped one of our clients like with much more. Just real quickly, just so people know that you don't just prepare homes for the market. How did you help that client of ours?
Well, I do a little bit of everything, but I can help downsize if you've got an elderly going into assisted living, and you need help with figuring out what to take, what not to take. When I do a lot of your staging, I usually do links to so your clients have an idea of what I'm talking about, so they can just go to my email and they can see, and I do just a little comment. This is what we talked about here. This is what we talked about there. Something like this. So you have like a visual list of what my suggestions are.
Awesome.
I do remodels, new construction. I've done dog kennels. I've done dentist offices. I've done dermatology offices. And a lot studio condos. From new to gutted remodels to brand new multi-million-dollar homes. So I love it all. I mean, I love what I do. So I don't know if that's what you were referring to. If not,
sure.
Yeah.
Well, it shows. And if people want to get a hold of you, how can they get a hold of you? I'll leave all of your contact information down below, but just tell them how can they reach you?
Okay. My cell number is 503-703-9910. And my email address is LUV, like love, but LUV, the number 2, reuse, REUSE, at iCloud.com.
Okay. Awesome. Well, like I said, we will leave your contact information down below. So we've got you covered there. Christina, I appreciate your time and just you relaying the knowledge that you've gained over years and years and years of helping people with this challenge, because that can seem overwhelming to people as they're even thinking about getting their home ready for the market. It's like, oh my gosh, I've got so much to do. And really, most of the time, I had one client recently that did it all in one day. I mean, they really worked hard for one full day, busted it out, and they did a great job. And it was ready for market and showed really, really well. So thank you, Christina.
Thank you.
Really
Thank you for having
appreciate your
me.
time. And
thank you so much.
I hope that you have a great Memorial Day.
You too. Thank you for having me, Andy.
My pleasure. Bye-bye.
Ciao.
Okay, that was Christina Birtcher with 3 Rows Interiors. It was awesome to have her on. We've been working with her for a couple of years now. The vast majority of our listings, as they're getting ready for the market, we connect her with our sellers. That is at our expense, so it's just part of our service. And as I mentioned, for the month of June, make sure that you click on the link down below. We're offering that special bonus. And I wanted to talk a little bit about the market. So let me pull up my screen here. So let's talk about the market for just a minute and see what's going on in our local market. We talk a little bit about this each and every week, and some things that came out recently that I thought were applicable and just good information to think about is that if you look at the slide on the screen here, 68% of unemployed workers who were eligible for unemployment insurance will receive benefits which exceed lost earnings. And 20% are receiving benefits that are at least twice as large as their lost earnings. So with the CARES Act, it's actually providing income for expansion rather than just replacement. So the government's obviously, they're very motivated and driven to make sure that Americans are made whole through this. And I know that that's not going to be the case in every situation. And I'm really curious just to hear, like, what has been your experience in the help that the government's given you? So if you have an answer to that, I'd love to hear what you have to say. Leave a comment, and just very curious about it. Very, very curious. What's the real impact for you guys? So another thing, mortgage demand over the past couple of weeks, we're seeing it dramatically increase. And a couple of the quotes here, one from Diane Olick with CNBC, and another one from Freddie Mac is the first one. If mortgage demand is an indicator, buyers are coming back to the housing market far faster than anticipated, despite coronavirus shutdowns and job losses. We had 2 weeks in the Portland market where everything shut down. It dramatically slowed and everybody pulled back, and they're just reevaluating and thinking, okay, what am I going to do here? What is the new normal? And as you can see here, it's come back far faster than anticipated. And the next thing is, as states reopen, we're seeing purchase demand improve remarkably fast. So remarkably fast and far faster than anticipated. We're seeing that. We are seeing it and we're living through it right now. So that is a reality in our local market right here in Portland, Oregon. So what has happened, looking compared year over year, 17.2% of existing home sales were down. So we're down 17.2% year over year in April, and then 19.7% total housing inventory as compared to this time last year. So the overall amount of homes that are on the market are about 20% less than last year. Now the key though is, and we've talked about this just about every single week, is the median annual increase in home prices. So how much is your home actually worth is 7.4% higher. Now in the local market, our stats just came out and it was just over 4%. So this 7.4, and it's the median. I think what I was talking about last week was probably the average. But the average appreciation in Metro Portland market is over 4%. So homes are still appreciating because inventory levels are so low. There is extreme demand in the market, and it is a really good time to sell your home, and a more challenging time to buy your home, and still a good time because interest rates are like just over 3% last time I saw. And if you can lock in your cost of living, like Annie always talks about, at around 3% for the next 30 years, holy moly, just about swore there. I'm so worked up that it is an awesome opportunity. Awesome opportunity. So the economic lockdowns have temporarily disrupted home sales, but the listings that are on the market are still attracting buyers and boosting home prices. I was on a mastermind last week and talking with a lot of top agents in the market. And one thing, a theme that I heard over and over and over was there are certain pockets of homes and neighborhoods and listings that are getting a lot of offers. I mean, we're talking about a lot of multiple offer situations and homes that are selling for dramatically over the list price. Is that the case with every listing? Absolutely not. And it's happening on a consistent basis though. So that just tells me that overall we're entering a healthy real estate market and a healthy season for home sales that is going to bode well for us. Historically low mortgage rates, as well as new technology that allows buyers to house hunt from afar, seems to have lifted the housing market from April's low point. The housing market is showing early signs of resilience amid the pandemic. And that's according to Mark Fleming, chief economist at First American. So a lot of the experts that we're hearing and talking to is they're talking about the housing industry actually leading out of this recovery. The amount of jobs and the money that it puts into the local economies or the national economies is a massive number. So the housing market is poised to bring us out of this economic time. And it's not the cause of it, like the housing bubble of 2008. So another quote, Dr. Frank Nothaft, chief economist for CoreLogic: look for the housing sector to recover before the rest of the economy and lead other industries into the expansion. And that's exactly what I was just talking about. So Dr. Frank Nothaft, super smart, obviously, he and I. So investing for the future. Next week's video, we're going to be talking about investing for your future. So using real estate as an investment tool, and the greatest wealth in history is created during economic challenging times. That is the reality. So how can you set yourself up to invest in your future, your kids' college education, your retirement, family members that are going to be circling back and coming back to live with you at some point, whether it's an aging parent or kids? I'm going to say something here. I'm going to find somebody to interview on this, and I have somebody in mind, and it's going to be a heck of an interview. Super interesting, just thought process behind investing for the future through real estate from a couple of people that I've worked with, so past clients. So that is next week's live video. And if you missed our last week's video, we talked about credit challenges and the way that the mortgage market is changing dramatically, and banks are tightening up their guidelines. And if you've been thinking about buying a home, you just need to be prepared. So you need to know what you're walking into, and that video walked you exactly through what that process looks like and what you need to do to prepare yourself for success in home buying in 2020. And if you're interested in following us, you can find Green Group Real Estate on Facebook, on Instagram. This is live streaming on Periscope as well as YouTube. We put out a lot of educational videos just to provide value and help people understand their options in today's market in order to make smart choices. So please take a minute, connect with me on social. And that is it for today, my friends. I am thankful. I'm thankful for you taking time out of your schedules to join me on today's call. I'm thankful for Christina Birtcher with 3 Rose Interiors for joining me today. I'm thankful for Annie for being out enjoying her Memorial Day. And I'm thankful for our veterans and our active service members who truly are providing us with the freedoms that we have to do what I'm doing right now. There are some places in the world that this is not even a possibility. So I hope that you enjoy time with your friends and your family. You relax a little bit. And I hope that you found value in this. If you're watching this on YouTube, please give us a thumbs up if you found some value. Make sure that you hit the subscribe button down below. And I'd love to hear your comments and any topics of interest that you may potentially be interested in hearing about it. Maybe that will be our next topic. So go out and make it a great day and a great week, my friends. And next week we will be back with you at 12:30 on Monday, as always, and we'll see you then.